This is Mary Carson. She has missed 6 weeks of work due to illness. Now she's reporting in for a physical before going back to her job in the assembly department. Only, it seems that Mary's records are gone. Yes, Mary failed to renew her leave of absence, which at her plant is taken automatically to mean that she has resigned without notice. The nurse suggests that if Mary wants her job back, she should see the personnel man. But Mary anxiously asks for a pass to see her foreman. However, her foreman tells Mary that they hired someone to replace her a week ago. She'd better start all over again at the personnel office.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Bill.
Welcome back to the old mill, kid. What's cooking? You look a little bit depressed.
Well, I was out 6 weeks, so they fired me.
Well, didn't you see your foreman?
Sure. Automatic quit, they call it. You know the rules. You're a steward.
Well, didn't you telephone?
No, I didn't. Didn't even think of it. I was just too sick.
Well, that's enough for me. You're much too good a worker to lose because of some arbitrary rule. We're going to go back to see your foreman.
But the foreman, while very sympathetic, says that according to the contract, Mary has resigned and her old job has been filled by another girl. Mary is a victim, but the written contract between the union and the company is clear. Her job is gone. However, Mary's steward is going to fight for her. He's making it a formal grievance and taking the matter upstairs. While the foreman sends his copy of the grievance form to his superintendent, the steward hands his copy to the chief steward at his first opportunity. And at his first opportunity, the chief steward storms into the superintendent's office.
Hey, Johnson, how about this Mary Carson?
You here again. This makes the 6th time this week.
Yeah, and if necessary, I'll make it 20.
Why don't you get off my neck and let me get some work done?
Mary is a victim. In this battle of stubborn wills, the rights and wrongs of her case are being ignored. That's what happens when personalities clash. That's why we need grievance procedures, so the person with the problem won't be forgotten simply because opposing sides refuse to remain calm. Obviously, no grievance was ever settled at a time like this. So, fortunately for Mary, her case went up into the final stage, to a hearing in the personnel man's office some days later. The personnel man, being more detached and less personally involved in the issues at stake, makes an excellent chairman for any grievance hearing.
Plant manager. He called to say he'd be a little late. Oh, here he is now.
Sorry if I held you up. Hi, Bob.
Present at this one, besides the personnel man as chairman, are the plant manager and the union grievance committee, composed of its own chairman and 2 other members.
Well, gentlemen, we're ready if you are.
Mr. Saunders and I have gone over this. We both know Mary. From what's down here, it looks like a pretty clear case. I'm puzzled. What's this grievance about?
Well, we think there's a lot of merit to this case.
First of all, Mary's a good worker, and she's got 3 years seniority with us. Ain't that right?
That's right.
Well, then you can't let her go without a thought. That ain't the way people treat each other.
But, Bob...
Now, wait a second. Mary is being penalized for being honest. She could have told you she phoned in. But the truth is she was so sick she couldn't even lift her head. Now, how do you expect to remember such technical details like...
She could have telephoned.
It was a major operation. She was in the hospital 3 weeks.
As long as that?
Oh, yes, we have the doctor's letter on that. Are you finished, Bob?
No, I'd like to sum up if you don't mind. Now, we ain't saying that Mary didn't break a rule. Technically, Mary's at fault, technically. But our point is, under the circumstances, that she was very, very ill, and because she is a good worker, and because she had 3 years of seniority with us, we object to having her kicked around just because of an arbitrary rule, even if it isn't a contract.
But, Bob, you're asking us to renegotiate the contract.
We're not asking to renegotiate the contract. We're just asking for a little justice.
But, Bob, hold it. I didn't interrupt you when you were talking.
Okay, go on.
According to the contract, Mary Carson automatically resigned,
We all know that. We don't deny it.
and a new girl was hired to replace her. Now, it's no secret to you fellas that business is down a little at present. We can't take on any new help. We haven't a single requisition in personnel, not one. So, should we take Mary back and fire this new girl? Is that justice?
Well, there must be some place for her. I ain't asking to give away the joint. Look, this ain't a legal case. Take the human point of view. She's a good worker. It ain't right.
Now, listen, we like Mary. She's a nice girl, and we'd like to have her back, if we could find a place for her. And if we could get around changing that contract. But we're not going to have you throwing that up in our faces forever as a precedent.
Well, I'm glad to know that you're taking Mary back. Now, there's one more point, and it's a very important point. As you know, Mary has been waiting around 7 working days while this case has been going through the grievance machinery. So we think you should get her back pay for those days.
Just a moment. We haven't even taken her back yet, but now you're asking...
Those 7 days weren't her fault. They were yours.
Wait. We haven't even taken her back at all. And now you've added something brand new to the case.
I don't go for that back pay stuff. If that's the way you feel about it, I guess we better stick rigidly to the terms of the contract. Now you're asking us to pay a reward for the violation of the contract.
But it wasn't her fault.
Technically, it was her fault. She actually quit according to the terms of the contract, and she's been replaced by another girl. Until you dragged pay into this discussion, I was inclined to go along with you and take her back if we could find a place for her. But now I'm inclined the other way.
Well, Mary says she wants her back pay, and that's all there is to it. Are you going to force this case into arbitration for a few lousy bucks? Come on.
Hold on a minute, Bob. I know Mary Carson, and I don't think she means that.
Well, I know she does. She told me so a half hour ago.
All right, let's bring her in here and let her speak for herself. Okay?
Well, okay. Can we recess for 10 or 15 minutes?
Sure. How about a cup of coffee for everyone?
I'm all in
The
favor of
cafeteria's
that.
still open.
Well idea. And the coffee's on you, Bob.
Well, Mary, that's about it. The manager says he's willing to get you back to work, if he can. But you say you won't accept a job without getting back pay for those 7 days you missed. Is that the way you really feel about it?
Well, I sure could use the money.
But, Mary, we're not even sure we can find you a job right now. And if you insist on this money, we can't even try. And that's about it.
Well, then I don't. I mean, I'll just take the job then. You will take me back again, won't you?
I object to that. You're threatening her. Mary, don't take any stuff like that from him.
Oh, listen, let's cut it out. Mary, under Clause 56 of the labor agreement, you forfeited your job when you failed to renew your leave of absence, correct? And as you fellas very well know, we haven't been hiring. There just simply may be no job at all. And another thing, there have been 4 similar cases this year.
Okay, Simon agrees, so don't give her the money. Mary, would you settle for your job back?
Mm-hmm.
4 similar cases, all turned down. But this case is a little different. I know you'll hold it as a precedent against us if we reinstate her.
Absolutely not.
No.
Hell no.
What do you think, George? Are there any jobs coming up at all?
Oh, I know there's nothing in her old department. But there might be something in some other department in that same division. It's a pretty big one, you know. You haven't got any requisitions to hire from the superintendent's office.
Nope, but I'll give him a call right now. Hello, Alex? Yes. Say, can you use a good girl anywhere in your division? No, I'm not kidding. You know her, Mary Carson. You can? Swell. Department 6. Next week. Say, Alex, do me a favor and get me off the hook. Take her on right now. She's been waiting for over a week. You know, this sick leave grievance. Are you kidding? You signed the form. You ought to remember. That's it. The one you battled over with the chief steward. Well, you naturally would remember the fight and not the case. Maybe now you guys will try settling some of your own grievances instead of making us poor personnel slaves do your work for you. Okay. Say, about Mary Carson, I'll send her over the first thing in the morning. George Saunders is right here, and we'll take care of the paperwork. Many thanks, Alex. Goodbye. Well, Bob, you satisfied now?
Guess that does it.
Hey, how about you, Mary? It's a different job, you know.
Pay rate the same?
Yes.
You satisfied?
Oh, yes, I just want to get back to work. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Well, back to the grind.
Aren't you forgetting something, Bob? No precedent here, right?
Well, we said we put it in writing, didn't we?
No, you didn't, but we want it in writing. Let's do it right now. Grievance settled. Employee reinstated. No break in seniority. We'll concede that. Effective date, March 12th. It's understood that this settlement has no precedent for any future settlement under Clause 56 of the labor agreement. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay with you, fellas?
Suits me.
Okay by me.
Another grievance settled. Like many others, this one involved a conflict between the formal terms of a labor agreement and the human problems of an employee. And because the union and management representatives are also human, it involved a clash of personalities. In this case can be seen the wisdom of having several steps in a grievance procedure, so the employee gets every chance to be heard. Both sides acted a little. Both took positions that gave them a chance for give and take bargaining, which, in the end, secured for Mary the fair treatment she deserved. With goodwill on the part of labor and management, problems in human relations that can never be covered in a labor agreement or a book of rules will, through grievance procedures, continue to be brought to a satisfactory and just conclusion.